Good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday. If you've been following along, then you know that I've been out on medical leave and I start back to work on Monday, March the 16th, and I decided that I did not want to sit home my last week since I do work from home, and I wanted to go out and do just some exploring and going some different places. Some I've never been, some I haven't been to in a while. Here I'm going to a thrift store or antique shop that I've never been to over in Mardela Springs, Maryland, called Main Street Treasures. I ended up having to drive around a little bit because they weren't open on time. Turns out that the owner apparently was sick and had to kind of phone a friend to come in and open the shop, so they were a few minutes late. But it was definitely worth doing that. I'm glad I ended up not giving up on it because I've realized, become one of my favorite little places. Prices were awesome. I love going into places where they're not gouging you, and so many cute little things that, like the little Easter decorations, very reasonably priced in here. I thought that was really cute. This little wreath, I think it was $16.95. If you like the primitive style. And I was in looking for cabinets. This cabinet was really nice. I wanted $65 for that one. But I was like, I'm pretty sure that's too big for my spot. They had an upstairs and a downstairs. I believe there was 2 rooms downstairs and 2 rooms upstairs that you could look through and purchase out of. So this was the little hallway area. So that was pretty cute. This was the first room up there. That record player was $75. I didn't look at the price on the silverware. But that's just some of the items. My phone doesn't like to focus very well, so if I have it not zoomed out, I ended up bringing him home with me. If I don't zoom it out, it won't focus at all. Not sure what the deal is with it lately, but anyway, I should have looked at that mirror on the wall. It's kind of similar to ones I have already. This whole room was done up with Christmas stuff. I could have spent a lot of time in here, but I kept telling myself I am not looking for Christmas items. This little sign here was $5.95. That was really cute. And they didn't have a price on this tree. If it was like $8 or under, I definitely would have gotten it. But it was really cute. And they had a lot of different pictures and signs and ornaments. But I really could have done some damage spending in here. But I really was looking for a cabinet to get all of my inherited glassware out of my kitchen cabinets. That sign, I think, was $4.95. They had a bunch of different versions of it. So I thought that was a good price for that. And I tried not to look too close just because I kept out of the corner of my eye seeing a lot of things I liked. We actually have one of those little hoard ornament things already that was given to me by my grandmother's husband, as my husband used to have racehorses. And those lamps, I believe, were $18 a piece. There were 2 of them. I went back in here because I was like, maybe I'm overlooking something. But again, my phone decided to not cooperate. But yeah, some really cute items in here. I was thinking that said $2.50, but it was actually, I think, probably $25, and I was like, I think that's wrong, but I couldn't understand the handwriting on it. I ended up bringing him home. He was only $4. And I brought that home because I had to have it. $85. Anywhere else, that would have been $200-something. The second place I went on Saturday would have been $300 or $400. Here, they couldn't take my debit card. They could only take cash because the girl doesn't actually work there, so she did not have it set up on her phone. So this is me going over to Hebron, Maryland, which is nearby, to find an ATM. The bank wouldn't let me in because I couldn't scan to get in to use their ATM, so I had to go to a little grocery store, which was, it had there was so much stuff my eyes couldn't focus in there. because it seems like it's like a little grocery store slash hardware type store. They had a little bit of everything. It was pretty neat. But we used to come over into this area when I was a kid, where we didn't live around here, but that is the Hebron Fireman's Carnival. And yeah, we used to be scared to death of those rides when we were kids, and I don't know why, because they're so tiny. I ended up taking my girls there when they were little, and I remember thinking, why in the world was I scared of this tiny roller coaster as a kid? But they were scared to death too at the time when we took them, but it was fun to go by and see that. So I ended up getting cash out, they put the other two cabinets at the Mardela store on hold for me because I wanted to run to this antique store to see if there was anything. I was looking for something very specific to fit in a very specific spot, and I didn't want to commit to the other ones without coming here and looking first. They have a lot of stuff here. I've been shopping here for years. It's a huge place. I thought that was cute. It actually looked like someone hand painted the fruit onto that. But they have a lot of stuff. It's a little pricey, but it's an antique store, and I believe they rent out most of these booths. I thought these were really cute, but again, I was telling myself, you don't need them. That's not what you're looking for. And ton of glassware. I was looking at this cabinet. It didn't have a price on it. If it doesn't have a price, it's not for sale. I thought this cabinet was really pretty as well. The further you go back in here, it got colder, and I didn't bring a coat with me that day, and I'd forgotten that their heat had messed up back there. So yeah, tons of stuff. I love that cabinet right there. I see it every time I go in, but it's not for sale. I thought that was pretty. Again, I have to keep my phone zoomed out some, so if I don't get up close, it's hard to see everything. He was $20. This glassware was kind of cute. I think they wanted like $24 or something like that for them. And this little area had some cute items, like for little Easter items. That little gold thing, I thought I had picked it up and showed it. It was like a little teacup. It was really pretty. I think they wanted like $12.95 for it. Tons of stuff like that. If that's what I was looking for, smaller cabinets like this. The Booth 7 had 25% off, which is where I got these. They're not old, but they're vintage inspired, which I would look through them. They were really cute, so I bought them. So I ended up paying like $3 something for them because they were only $5. And this was just some pictures of some other booth setups. Thought those were neat. They had a ton of doilies in different booths, pretty good prices. I actually have that roasting pan and the crock below it, and I have 2 of those yellow bowls. All of them were my mother-in-law's, so this is what I ended up getting and how I styled it for now. I'm going to be playing with that for a while. This is me. Oh, I was going back home. This is when I went back home to get my husband in the truck to get that cabinet. These I got at the first place. And again, this is a little bit how I've changed it up since then. I'm going to keep changing it until I like it. But this is all inherited stuff from my mother-in-law and my grandparents. I went to this store in Laurel, Delaware. They're kind of overpriced, but I thought about it later in the night, and I said, they do have to pay the rent for the building, so I guess it makes sense. But this is the only second time I've been in there. They always have a ton of furniture. Ended up getting 3 things from here, but they always have a lot of stuff. It's always super organized. Well, I will admit, the first time I went in, it didn't seem, but they had just opened, so it's changed up since I went in there. It seems like from the first time. But they had a lot of stuff. It was a little busy, so I didn't get to look around, but that's what I ended up buying. I actually have a few of those brass horses from my own collection. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe.